At dawn Telemachus left the swineherd's hut for the palace. He told Penelope what he had learned abroad, and kept his father's return a secret between them.
Then Eumaeus led the stranger toward town, as Athena had counseled, the king in rags, stepping toward his own house as if it were another's.
Look, one beggar leading another. If you crawl into that hall, you'll leave with a broken head.
Eumaeus cursed him for a traitor. Melanthius only laughed and went ahead to sit among the suitors.
At the courtyard gate an old dog lay on a dung heap, Argos, whom Odysseus had raised before Troy. Maggots and neglect had claimed him, yet he knew his master.
Argos wagged his tail and dropped his ears, then died, having seen Odysseus in the 20th year. The man brushed a tear aside so Eumaeus would not ask.
They crossed the threshold. The hall roared with wine and meat. Telemachus gave the stranger a seat by the door and a share of bread, guest right, even for a beggar.
Odysseus went from man to man, testing hearts. Most tossed a scrap. Antinous alone refused, and mocked the house that fed him.
Stand off, you shameless pest, or I'll drag you by the foot through the door.
He seized a footstool and hurled it. It struck Odysseus at the shoulder. The king did not fall, he shook his head in silence, and the hall went still for a breath.
Above, Penelope heard the blow and the laughter. She sent for the stranger. She would ask what news he carried of her husband.
Odysseus sent word back through Eumaeus, he would come at evening, when the suitors were quieter. First he would sit out their insolence in the open hall.
So the day wore on in mockery and meat. The beggar watched every face, and marked which men still kept a scrap of shame. Then Iris came, the public beggar who claimed the doorway as his own. He ordered Odysseus out, and the suitors egged them on to fight.
Athena filled his limbs. Odysseus struck once Iris crumpled, blood at the mouth. The suitors laughed until their sides ached, and dragged the beaten man to the yard. I see you are not like the worst of them. Go home. When Odysseus comes, blood will answer blood. Amphinomus' heart was shaken, yet he stayed. Destiny had already bound him to the hall.
Athena put it in Penelope's mind to show herself to the suitors, and shed grace upon her, so that their longing burned hotter and their gifts poured out.
She spoke of Odysseus' parting counsel, when Telemachus was bearded, she might wed. Let them bring gifts, she said, and they ran for golden cloth while Telemachus watched, tight-lipped.
Night fell. Melantho, a faithless maid, mocked the beggar by the hearth. Odysseus answered with a hard quiet that promised reckoning.
Eurymachus flung another stool. It missed. Telemachus rose and ordered the hall emptied for the night, and for a moment the suitors obeyed the son of the house.
When the hall was empty, father and son carried the weapons to the storeroom, Athena lighting their way with a golden lamp no mortal eye could explain.
Then Penelope came down to the fire. She asked the stranger who he was, and why he wore such ruin.
He spun a Cretan lie, a guest friend of Odysseus, shipwrecked, who had seen the king in Crete years past, and described the cloak Odysseus wore, so true that Penelope wept.
If only your words were true. The gods have made my grief a habit, hope hurts more than silence.
She ordered Eurycleia to wash the stranger's feet. The old nurse took his leg, and her fingers found the scar the boar had left on Parnassus long ago.
It is you, my child, alive.
Nurse. Soft. If you wake this house with joy, we both are ruined.
Athena turned Penelope's attention aside so she did not see. Eurycleia swore secrecy. The washing finished in trembling quiet.
Then Penelope told her dream, 20 geese in her yard, and an eagle from the mountain that killed them all, and the eagle spoke with a man's voice, I am your husband, the geese are the suitors.
The beggar said the dream needed no interpreter, Odysseus himself would finish what the eagle began.
At last she named the trial for the morning, 12 axe heads set in a line, and Odysseus' bow. Whoever strings it and shoots through all shall have her as wife, for she can endure no longer.
Odysseus urged her not to postpone. Let the axes stand. The hour of the bow was coming.
She went up to her chamber and wept until Athena shed sleep upon her. Below, the beggar wrapped his rags and waited for a night that would not rest.
Odysseus lay in the vestibule and heard the faithless maid slip out to the suitors. Rage rose in him like a bitch guarding pups, and he forced it down.
Sleep. I am here. Even if 50 bands of men surrounded us, you would drive off their cattle.
He slept a little. Dawn came. A grinding woman in the mill prayed aloud that this day be the suitor's last, and Odysseus took the omen gladly.
Servants kindled fires. Telemachus armed and walked the hall like a master. Eumaeus returned, Melanthius drove goats again and spat at the beggar.
As the suitors entered, an eagle flew on the left with a dove in its claws. Theoclymenus the seer saw it, and the blood mist that would follow. I see night on your faces. Ghosts throng the courtyard. I will not stay to share your ruin. The feast roared on. Athena kept their minds dark so they would wound Telemachus with words one last time, and seal their own doom.
Above the noise, Penelope prepared the bow and the axes. The trial she had named in grief was now the hinge of justice.
In the doorway the beggar watched the weapon of his youth return to the light. Strings, axes, suitors' laughter, all of it waited for one pull. So ends the eve of reckoning. The bow will speak. The hall that mocked a beggar will learn his name, and part 6 begins with blood and homecoming's price.